that. So anyways, I'm recording now.
No, you're not. I already made the post, by the way.
Recording in
I
progress.
mean, I'm recording on OBS, and now
you're recording on
I'm
this.
recording on the other thing on Zoom as a backup.
Zoom.
Because every now and then I do screw up and forget to hit it. So yeah, I guess we're ready.
I sent the link to a group with me, Jammer, and Danny and Jonesy. Jammer's like, "Fuck that guy." Anyway,
that's funny.
I'm ready.
All right, man. Well, you kick it off, not me. There's a cold open here, and I just wait for you to say the magic word, and boom, video starts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marvel Multiverse Mayhem.
Craziness, mayhem with Marvel characters.
Yeah. Brought to you by Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow, and on the Genreverse podcast network. Anything else I need to say?
And the LRM YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Check out lrmonline.com every day for all your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. Genreverse.com as well. And keep your eye out for the upcoming Genreverse podcast network on YouTube. We're coming up with the actual official name. We'll tell you guys later, but keep an eye out for it. So yeah, Nick,
exciting stuff.
Good stuff, man.
So today, spoilers. If you just always assume there's spoilers. So this is your first time. Spoilers could come in the next sentence. They won't, but you never know on this show. We're reviewing Hawkeye episode 5, Ronin, as well as doing a little bit of catch up for you before you see Spider-Man No Way Home today, tomorrow, this weekend. If you wait any longer than that, you're dead to me. So
I already know people firsthand. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus that they're not seeing it in theaters because their group of friends are, and I quote, willing to wait for streaming. I'm not lying. I'm not fucking lying. Brian has like 3 people that have told him, I'll wait. One of them straight up asked, when does it hit Disney Plus? And it's like, oh my God. You guys are like the fuckers that were like, man, it'll be great when Wolverine shows up in the Avengers movie back in Age of Ultron. Like, fuck you guys. Go see the fucking movie. I'm not even the most excited for it. I'm scared of it. Like,
I'm not anymore.
Hope it's good. But the way people were reviewing it sounded an awful lot like Ghostbusters Afterlife. We'll see.
Really? Because I looked at just reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I refused to read a full review.
Yeah, that's what we were looking at this morning.
No Way Home is currently at 94%. It's dropped with only 132 reviews. Far From Home, by the time it came out, or with all the reviews were calculated, it was closer to 400. So expect that number to fluctuate. Just the little clips I read from interviews was. One of the things they made a big deal of is what my biggest worry is they're like, this is still a very personal Tom Holland Peter Parker story. It's not like you think he'd get lost in it, but
others say no. Yeah. Others say you do get lost. That's what I'm saying, dude. It sounds a lot like Ghostbusters Afterlife because people are So when you actually go in and you start looking at all the ranks, like the actual grades that they give them.
Mm-hmm.
It's all middling, right? It's a lot of positive, but it's all like B plus, 3, 3.5 out of 5 stuff. Some group in Australia uses a grade of 20. Gave it like a 16.5 or 15.5 out of 20. Like, what the fuck, Australia?
They're weird. I'm just kidding. I love Australian fans.
Right. And then there were few that gave it perfect. 5 out of 5, or I didn't see any A's, but I saw like 1 10 out of 10 and a few 5 out of 5s. Those people were all like the movie for Spider-Man Generations and things like that. And then the people that hated it said a lot of the same things about Afterlife. Now, you know me, my issues were not the nostalgia factor. It was that they didn't do anything with the nostalgia over at Ghostbusters other than, oh, look, we took the story out of the firehouse. We got to put a pole in here. So let's put it in the dumbest, most illogical place possible. A secret lab.
Think of it this way, though. like
but
with Ghostbusters sequel, you want something close to the original Ghostbusters. This
and they
should be
didn't.
in line
They,
with the last two Spider-Man movies we
It
got.
should
We'll
be.
just get it some old characters.
It should be. Like I said, I'm not against it. I'm hoping for the best. I've had my ticket since it went on sale, and I've been telling people to go. Yeah, I've been telling people to go out and you can still get tickets for my showing right now.
Oh, really?
Yes, tomorrow. No, it's not.
Well, today when we're recording. I mean, today when we're posting.
Yeah. It might sell out by the time we're seeing this, but I'm not against it. I want it to be successful. My whole big thing is how will it land and where does it go from here? So I'm happy that it's getting good reviews, and I question, one person was like ragging on the geek fan cult or fan service, and I was like, dude, all Marvel films are filled with geek fan service,
and like Star Wars, and like even the good Star Wars.
I was gonna say, I hope you made this complaint about other things, because if you didn't, you're just a tool.
Any franchise, really. Bond, the most recent Bond, you could definitely say that. But
yeah,
anyway,
I hope it's good.
Me
Man.
too.
We'll talk more about. I mean, yeah, I guess we'll talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, we can talk a little about that at the end. Let's start with episode 5 of Hawkeye, Ronin. Do you agree with me? I wrote this earlier that I think Marvel always nails the 5th episode of their hour-long episodes. Because Loki's the Void. The 5th episode, Loki, is the episode in the Void, and the 5th episode, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, starts with the battle with John Walker, and then which is one of the highlights of the series, and then it goes on to be the story of Sam Wilson finding himself. So what do you think of episode 5 of Hawkeye, and how would you maybe rank it versus those two, since I refreshed your memory of what happens in
The Void? Is that the one where Loki's in the loop? No, that's where he goes to the Void.
Yeah, that's where he meets all the other Loki variants. So like, come with us if you want to live. Well, that's in episode 4 then. And they make their way to the castle at the end of that episode.
So this episode's good. They pour Yelena on a little thick with the mac and cheese. I needed that scene to move a little bit faster. Dude, I do too. That's why I was kind of upset.
I love hot sauce.
Drag out. Well, they could have kept that, just gotten to it. I don't know. Faster.
It was a fun scene.
Like, that's what I'm saying, is it drug out a little bit too much, and that's what I'm realizing about a lot of these shows, is it really feels like most of these should have been maybe 4 hours of content instead of 6 to 8, because there's a lot of episodes as we reviewed these where we're like, yeah, this was great, but dear God, it took forever to get to the point.
I think that's us adjusting to TV shows after watching the movies.
And I was thinking about that. Because we're looking for all this character development, and I think that's even a knock against them, because they're still spending so much time on the characters that we already know for a lot of these, even though they're introducing new characters like. But
you learn a lot more about like Clint and Yelena and stuff.
But it's like, I don't know. It's like, you're already telling us a story now. Let's go on with that. You and I have complained often about bringing up the Stones again, Avengers, Battle of New York again. Like, I'm with you on that. Like, Thanos snapped, Tony snapped. Let's move on.
That being said, while we're addressing, I was gonna say, like Star Trek Discovery taught me I like Star Trek more than Star Wars, because especially at the time, I mean, now there are Star Wars TV shows. Watching Star Trek Discovery, I'm like, I mean, these are even better than the movies, because you really get to meet even the most, like, rather than just having the medical officer in like 15 minutes or having him be Spock or something, like, you get to know like everyone on the ship, and that's why I feel like these Marvel shows are like too. It's just giving breath for characters that would have like maybe a 5-minute conversation. In the movies, and we're adjusting because the movies move like that. Like, but I wish they would meet the character, action scene.
I wish they would do more for the other characters, and especially ones that we care about. But that being said, the episode does have a lot of really good fun in it. I love the Kate and Yelena stuff. It's awesome, even though, like I said, there's some parts the pushing for the mac and cheese could have been cut down a bit.
I really liked it. I thought that was funny. She brings such energy to the screen, Florence Pugh.
Yeah, and The stuff with Hawkeye, Clint was fine. Russian Jon Snow, I sniffed him out pretty early on.
Well, he's important in the comics in a different way.
And I haven't read those.
I know you haven't.
And then I love the fight, and it was kind of like, I know she can't hear them, but she should sense. Oh, okay, now she's got it. So by the time he gets all through her guards,
it's like a Batman Begins type fight. Where that's something interesting. You very rarely see a fight scene from the point of view of the bad guys in the Marvel universe, and it's like them watching each other get picked off, like in Batman, which is a fun perspective. Normally, you see the Avenger perspective, like dead Hydra agent, dead Hydra agent, dead Hydra agent.
And then I really did enjoy the scene where he goes to talk to Natasha at the memorial, and forgive me for what I'm about to do. And then of course the ending, I was kind of like, man, I think they're gonna save him till the very end of this episode, because it was like 5-10 minutes in or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, getting the feeling it's just gonna be an end of the episode type deal. And it was a picture at the end of the episode of Kingpin, Wilson Fisk. It's interesting they decided to use the comic book name, like,
yeah, I don't remember them doing that, but that's what Hawkeye said was Kingpin.
Yes, Kingpin. And then I know Fisk is also I meant his like nickname, if you will.
They don't think they really did. They see Kingpin often or
I think
all
they
in
referred
Daredevil
to him as a Kingpin.
Okay.
But I don't.
Daredevil,
think
they put off
the
saying his
Kingpin.
name for a few episodes intentionally.
Yep. And you see him, and it's kind of like, okay, you guys build this up, tease it up, and reveal it here in this. I don't think we're going to get a huge amount of him that next episode. So I think it's going to be like you said after you told me a bit about the comics, that it'll be a lot of more of him in Echo possibly. So
I think we'll be dealing more with the mother as the main villain than him, because she's like the step in between our characters to Kingpin, and Kingpin's the big guy. Hawkeye knows he's super serious. So
and that was the other thing is you and I being on the fiance not being the bad guy. I still stand that he's potentially somewhere between the Walmart family and I don't know, not pre-president Trump, like on level of business dirty,
I don't even think he knows shit about that.
That's what I'm
the line
saying.
where he's like, I haven't worked a day in my life. I laughed so hard when he said that.
He's no more grimy than your regular billionaires would be out there. He might have been like, man, wasn't that company I just hired to do the cleaning here in the news for something bad last week? I'll let HR deal with it. Like that type. And then having those connections to get a hold of, frivolous things like that type of grimy, like if he wanted a burger during lockdown from Schmitty's down the street, he could fucking get it type grimy, even though it would technically be illegal. I as far as ranked against the others, I'd probably say this would be last.
Okay.
I'd still put Loki and Falcon Winter Soldier above those for different reasons. But not a bad episode at all.
I would say it's my favorite so far of Hawkeye. Would you agree?
Everything with Marvel is your favorite so far.
I know, but like
Hawkeye,
this one,
Hawkeye.
no, not of every series. This is my favorite episode of Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, yeah.
Whereas like last week, I was into it, but you were more into last week's episode than I was.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Definitely top two.
Because I mean, it just part of it for me was getting to see Yelena, and it almost like started like a Black Widow 2 type sequel, explaining exactly what she'd been up to, and and then the Kingpin reveal at the end. I was like, yes! I think I woke up my roommate.
Sorry, I forgot to say this. I did appreciate us getting to witness another comeback from the weirdest. Snap.
From a new perspective we haven't seen. That was so cool. I mean, it was really cool when we saw what's her face come back in
Monica
Monica Rambeau
Yeah,
come
Monica.
back in WandaVision, but this was more from a perspective well, she was snapping when it happened. This was literally she turns to dust and then she returns, because that's how you would experience it. And she's like, what the fuck?
And
like
the
that was a
room
highlight
changes around
for me.
her. Yeah, I did like that. So anyways, continue on.
So I was just gonna go through the episode and we can discuss specifics if we want. So opens with them trying to save another widow. She's on her mission, left off at the end of Black Widow. Yelena trying to save other widows. The widow doesn't need saving, but when she goes to the bathroom, she gets blipped and she blips back. And when she blips back, the Black Widow has a husband and adopted kid, because of course they can't have children, which is pretty dark in the MCU. They've been snipped.
Well, it's more than a snip.
No,
women,
I know.
Yeah.
I don't need to think about it or look into it too much. I will say that
Hysterectomy.
we sometimes we're arguing what year we think things take place. The show is definitely 2023, because they did say 2018 is when she was blipped. I know there's been some, and it's been 5 years, so we know we're in 2023. Sometimes I don't know if we're in 2024 or 25. It's been hard to tell sometimes, but
what's his name corrected every one, which is weird, because our Far From Home I thought was supposed to take place in 24, but no, I think this is Christmas of 24.
Think this is that much later?
Yeah, well, it has to be, because she mentions the new and improved Statue of Liberty, which comes in where?
That was my favorite reference, besides like...
So...
I heard that line and I was like...
And I think the cap shield on the Statue of Liberty, one of the... America wouldn't do that. Even in the Marvel universe, not for Steve, not for... not Anthony Mackie, that's the character, the actor's name.
Sam.
Sam Wilson, not for Steve, not for Sam.
Not for Iron Man. I don't think they changed
not for
it. He's the real one who saved the world.
Like no one get. I mean, the French gave it. The left alone would never let it change, because changing would make the right happy, because it would piss the French off or some garbage shit. So I don't like that, but whatever.
Here's the only way I could see it working in the Marvel universe: if it was destroyed and they were rebuilding it and making it look a little different. No, they're just adding a shield onto it. It looks like, instead of a torch. So
don't like it.
We'll see. We'll find out about that later today. Well, depends when this goes up. We're seeing it.
It'll be going up on Thursday.
Yeah, which is when we see it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, so, and then we get Kate goes home. She's with her mom, who kind of patches her up, just like Hawkeye, and that's when she first says that she thinks Jax is dirty and killed Armand. And I'm like, don't tell your mom that. Like, your mom did it. Now she's gonna have to do something to like take that into account. Then we have a very similar scene with Echo and Kazi's his name, right? I mean,
I call him Russian Jon Snow.
Russian Jon Snow. I think we've seen him. The only reason I think it's whatever his name was on the computer. I think it said Kazi or something. Let's go with Russian Jon Snow.
I like that.
He's patching up Echo, and they're having a conversation, because obviously she was in the rooftop fight. He's trying to get her to back down, just like Clint told him to.
Yep.
But I mean, it's vengeance. It's not going to happen. And as we find out later, I guess, but I have it written down here, is that Clint was tipped off by Kingpin, but actually, it was Kazi, I believe.
He was the informant.
He was the informant working for the big guy.
Yes.
Which was our theory, of course, that Kingpin aimed Ronin at his own organization to get rid of people he thought maybe were too big for their shoes or something. And Kazi, that's why Kazi, later she asked him why he wasn't there when he was like the number 2.
Because he didn't want to get killed.
He was the informant and he didn't want to be there.
Yep.
But also in this episode, we get to the Kate and Yelena scene, which I know I liked a lot more than you. I loved every scene she was in.
It's just too long.
I think she stole the episode in the same way she stole Black Widow. Even though I love Kate Bishop and Clint and like everyone, she absolutely stole the episode. Like whenever she's on screen, I get so
Makes
pleased.
you sad they didn't use her more in the last episode and the episode before that and the episode
Well, Shield,
for that.
I'm sure they're looking right now and they're like, she's getting a TV show. I don't think they give her a movie, and I'm sure she'll be in other movies, but I bet they're looking right now and they're like, we have to give her a TV show ASAP.
They said Scarlett would be doing something.
Oh shit, Scarlett's probably
Not,
producing a Yelena
but
show
they
or a
said not
movie.
Black Widow related. But
They
then again,
mean
they
not
said
Natasha.
the title.
I didn't think
Yeah,
of that.
that's what I'm
She
guessing,
absolutely
so.
is working on a Yelena project.
Well, we're not saying
That's prediction.
that's a yeah.
That's my prediction since you just brought that up.
I
I
brought
didn't
it
think
up
of
as a
that.
possibility.
So yeah, they mentioned Statue of Liberty. Clint goes to Grill's place, and I hope everything works
That
out.
was cute.
I hope everything. Yeah, he's another great character. I hope everything works out for him because in the comics he gets killed.
Ooh, goody.
But he's a different character in the comics too, slightly. Well, first of all, he's a fat white man, but I'm not even talking about how they cast him. But in the comics, Hawkeye is protecting an apartment complex he purchased from the Tracksuit Mafia, and the Tracksuit Mafia at one point killed Grills, who's just one of his tenants. So I'm hoping I like that character a little too much to want to see him go. Jax gets arrested, of course, because the mom turns him in. Jax is pretty cool about it. He's like, I would do the same thing if I suspected you, but I'm innocent. I haven't worked a day in my life.
I wish I could say that.
And then
have that house.
Then we see Clint at the memorials. We discussed there's a nice plaque that lists the 6 Avengers names who saved New York, and he turns off his hearing aid and talks to Black Widow. Like you said, he asks her for no, he apologizes. He doesn't ask for permission. He apologizes what he's going to have to do, because what he ends up doing, though I'll backtrack in a second, is shoots an arrow through the window of the moving guys, the bros, Tracksuit Mafia, as they're having a conversation about which characters have the best tracksuits, and they're like, Tony Soprano. It's like, no, Royal Tenenbaums. We look totally like the Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah, the old message on an arrow thing. It always as soon as I saw it, anytime I see anything with arrows and messages, I always think of Monty Python.
Oh yeah,
Holy Grail. Message for you, sir. Love it.
But going back before Clint does meet Maya, we discussed that scene a little bit, the Batman Begins scene. He talks with his wife. How do you feel about the theory that she's Mockingjay, or wait, what is it? Mockingbird, who he marries in the comics. She could have gone into retirement, changed her name, or they just don't use the same name from the comics, and met at Shield. She obviously knows a lot, as we discussed last week. The watch might even link back to her in some way, or her identity.
Yeah. And we had a fan reach out from last week, asked a question if we thought the watch might be Stark's from Civil War.
That was one of my thoughts,
but I never thought of that. So Nick, you thought of it.
That was one of my thoughts, but I don't think it is. I thought that at first, because I mean, like that tech's everywhere, like especially going into Armor Wars, like. I'm sure, like, what's her face has access to everything now. Little Miss Sharon Carter.
Yeah,
and
who knows, and that could be it. If she is Mockingbird, what's her name played her in the Agents of Shield. You could easily retcon some things with that.
Or even just leave it, or just say it once, like he used to be called Mockingbird. You don't need to show us a prequel, or
I don't even think she
doesn't need to come back into the field.
Yeah, I don't. No, I'm not saying like retcon it with like a whole series or anything. No. I'm saying like retcon the more of the. Well, it's not even a retcon anymore because they just said Agents of Shield isn't.
Yeah, it's not canon.
I guess, or whatever. But yeah, it's possible.
Then I forgot Mockingbird was an Agent of Shield, but I have watched that far to see that. Then there's a big fight scene, really cool fight scene with Echo. They're kicking each other's asses.
Well, she's played by Adrian Palaki, whatever. She's like one of the main characters from the beginning of the show.
Oh, you're talking about Mockingbird. Yeah, I thought you were talking about Maya. No. And I was like, what? What show?
No, Mockingbird. When you said you didn't watch enough of
No,
of
but she's
S.H.I.E.L.D.,
not Mockingbird immediately. She reveals that later, doesn't she?
I mean,
Wait,
I
Agents of
don't think
Shield,
they
because the
ever
one
use
girl's
her.
Quake.
I don't think they ever use her name
Oh,
like that. But like I
I
was
thought
saying,
maybe she
it's
was one of the season 2 characters that was introduced when Shield
was it
falls.
season 2?
Shield falls at the
No, I thought
end
it
of
was
season
season
1,
one.
and then season 2 explores that more.
No, it was season one. I'm almost positive she was there from the get go. Anyways, carry on.
So they have a fight. Clint, he knows more sign language than last time. Maybe he's been practicing, but he's basically like, "Look, you're like me. You're so angry. Someone's using you as a weapon. That's what I was. I was just a weapon. Someone pointed me in your direction. It was an informant from within your organization, basically." And he's like, "If you come for my family or me, I'll kill you otherwise." Because his line is like, "I want to show you my face," and she's like, "What?" So you can like, I'm not gonna pretend to do sign language. So you can I can see it before you kill me. He's like, "No, it's me. You come after me and my family again, then I definitely will kill you," and that's like a guarantee or whatever the line is. But she still doesn't want to back off. But she does take she doesn't disbelieve him, because she goes off to see Russian Jon Snow, who
Love it.
she's like, "Why weren't you there?" And he gives and she rides off angry after that conversation. Hawkeye and Kate Bishop escape in a Uber or a Lyft, and they go to Grills. Meanwhile, Yelena has been trying to track down who hired her. And we see her watching her mother, and then we see her look up the building, which makes more sense after you see in the episode, because she obviously climbed the side of the building and took the picture, Black Widow style. And then at the end, we learn that the mom is the one who hired Yelena, and the mom works with Kingpin. But what does that mean for Val? Is Val someone hired by the mom to recruit people? Is Val related to? Is Eleanor and Kingpin involved with John Walker also? Like, that's the kind of the question I have. Or if she's just kind of a broker who's like, "Oh, I know people. I'll go talk to that person for you and threaten them."
Maybe they're working power broker somehow. I honestly don't know, and I honestly wonder how much stuff got changed around. So I'm not sure if we're gonna see more dots connected later. Like we connected 1 through 6 here. We're skipping 7 and going to dot number 8 and connect 8 through 12, and then 12 and we'll come back to 7. And, whatever.
And this is the first time in Phase 4 until No Way Home that they reference something in the same phase. Like, this movie requires Black Widow. Like, the order does matter with these. The Shang-Chi, Eternals, you can watch them. Loki, you can don't like, but those two are actually connected. And No Way Home should be connected to a little bit, maybe not a little bit to Loki, even though they don't say it. That's part of the breaking. Like we said, we're seeing the multiverse break in multiple ways.
That's your theory. I'm not exactly sure what Marvel's been doing, because they keep playing with the words of universe, dimension, timeline, and to still piss on everyone or shit in everyone's cereal about the whole, "Oh my god, it syncs up with this, that, or the other." It also syncs up with whenever I took my last shit. So with the idea of time being circular, it syncs up with any moment you want it to. But that idea of yours, I don't know. No, man, I don't know.
I feel like there's multiple pressure points that are causing things to crack.
That might be part of it, and it might be one puts a pressure on universes, one puts a pressure on time, and one puts a pressure on dimensions. But I don't know. Like, and honestly, I don't think Marvel knows, and I'm almost believing we're gonna see them just not explain some of it and just be like, "Multiverse fuckers, who cares? Take your nostalgia shit from Fox and Sony and like it."
I don't want Fox. I don't want next
you're getting it
of a Spider-Verse.
Suck it up. They're getting it. Fox characters in your face.
No, fuck those characters. Except for, Wolverine. I would like to see Wolverine briefly, but not in a real role. And I'd rather see him in a Deadpool 3 multiverse little thing. Oh, did you watch the credits? I watched the credits because of the song, Mr. Grinch. And at the end of the credits, did you see the end of the credits? There wasn't a video there.
Shadow.
Yeah, the shadow of Kingpin. Kind of like if you look at a picture of Denver, they have like they always put the shadow of the mountains behind it. He's the shadow behind New York City.
Yep.
Which I thought nice. I'm like, nice touch. He's back. He's back.
It's cool. I was down with it.
So, yeah, I guess. Any other theories? You know, what do you think will happen next? Highlights?
Like I said, it's just gonna. We'll probably get a whole whopping max of 3 to 5 minutes of Kingpin next episode, and it won't be all at once. And then we'll get a big setup. I guess we're gonna see Echo take down Russian Jon Snow. Her and Hawkeye go after Fisk.
Yelena's still after Hawkeye at this point, though, as far like.
Well, she's
Kate Bishop didn't talk her out of it. Yeah,
things, but
Kate Bishop does give that speech about.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the things I found really interesting is that Hawkeye knew. I guess I don't know why I found that weird, but the Hawkeye knew about Yelena, but that makes perfect sense because Black Widow is the one he was closest with, Natasha. So it would make sense she's talked about Yelena before, but. When I watched it twice because I watched it last night after a few beers. Like it happened to come out and I was still awake. But yeah, when he said that at first, I was shocked that he knew about Black Widow because she's like, oh, it's Black Widow's sister. He's like, Yelena? But then I was like, oh no, of course they would have talked about that. Like they were tight without being in a relationship.
Mm-hmm. And so I think that I don't know what the final resolution will be for Clint. I hope they don't kill them all.
Me too. I want to see
but
Young Avengers led by him.
It won't be, but
well, not led, but he can be like Nick Fury.
I know what you meant. Mentor, leader over like comms and organization stuff, but I almost don't see how you do anything. How does he not die and not have King going on and not have him on the run with what's her name and stuff like that? I don't know what's going to happen, but it kind of seems like death or presumed death is a really easy way to wrap it up, because then you want Kingpin focused on Kate and Echo for whatever they're doing next.
Oh, because Kate could be in the Echo show. I didn't even think of that.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know exactly. And that's both kind of exciting, but also kind of scary. Because like I said, when I start thinking of the potential loose ends and the pieces on the board, it's like, well, fuck, man. Someone's gonna die. Someone's got to die, and it's not going to be Kingpin. So
no, he's at the very beginning of his Marvel Cinematic Universe career. I'm sure we'll be seeing him for years and years to come. Hopefully on both mediums. Hopefully they don't leave him on a TV for some reason.
Streaming only.
Well, I would hope. Here's what I would hope is that eventually they'll do a Daredevil movie, not TV show this time. Since they've done a TV show before, do it as a movie this time.
They might
use Kingpin and other
push it a
Bullseye if you want.
Further. Yeah.
Elektra, even though I haven't liked either version of Elektra.
Oh, as long as I, God, fuck it. As long as I don't have to look at Jennifer Garner. Yeah, the other one all day long, dude. She was way better actress with a better story, better writing, of course. That all goes with it just being in the Marvel Studios Netflix. And also Fox, but,
not being the first superhero movie to follow Spider-Man. It was the first movie to follow Spider-Man, where you're like, this feels kind of like Spider-Man, but it's terrible.
And yes, she's a lot more aesthetically pleasing to me, at least.
I don't like either of them. I thought,
dude, Garner has such a square jaw, dude. Oh,
I like Garner though. But
you guys can break me down to my physical attributes. I don't care what strangers think about my physical attributes. I'm the correct hand. I've been married going into 15 years, so
nice.
I know I'm ugly. What's your excuses, people? Anyways, Nick. Ad time, is it?
I think it is.
We're done with Hawkeye. Cool. Grow Generation commercial. Away. No, it didn't go. Now it will.
Grow
away.
Generation, where the pros go to grow. For all of your cultivation needs, Grow Generation has the right products, service and staff to make your grow successful. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
And we're back. Us away. Or here. Go, Nick.
All right, we're gonna do just a very brief breakdown of what you kind of need to know going into Spider-Man No Way Home. We're not even gonna talk. We're not gonna talk rumors or anything either. I feel we should just talk about what we know, and we did the recap for you guys for each one. If you want to go back and listen to it, and we're basically just kind of say where the villains ended up, like, before we see them again, and we can talk very briefly about how the current trilogy ties into the third film. So let's just go through the villains. As Doctor Strange said, they all die in their realities, which isn't 100% true, but...
Well, they did. I don't remember who said it. Someone said that they will connect some dots.
Like,
it might
Tobey Maguire murdered Sandman later or something. That's the assumption. It's like, he got dark afterwards.
Dots connected, so.
So, Green Goblin, my favorite villain.
Dead as a doornail. Gone.
Hailed by his own glider in the most Sam Raimi scene of all, where it stops and be like, oh, and then Doc Ock, who died saving the city when the arms finally listened to him, drowned under a fusion reactor, not just drowned.
Under a sun.
Yeah, the power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
I still find it funny that I shocked you with the fact it's like, dude, I played with tritium like every day in the
I didn't know it was even a real element. I'm like, it's like adamantium or vibranium.
Not that rare. You can
precious tritium.
You can easily make it through other nuclear refining processes, but it does exist rarely in nature.
Oh, it's rarely in nature, but you can make it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Dude, we put it in military optics, like to help light up the reticles. So think hundreds of thousands of scopes and optics with it. Those things break. Do you think? Yeah, you can make it easy.
So obviously we have 5 villains from 5 movies. So even though there were 3 villains, sort of 2.5 in Spider-Man 3, because Harry goes good, we're getting Sandman from that. Obviously, there's another Venom that, due to recent comments, exists in the same universe eventually.
Yeah,
and we'll be crossing over. So there, plus a lot of that was most people's main complaint with Spider-Man 3 was that version of Venom. But we're getting Sandman, who didn't die on the screen. He apologized to Peter and just blew away like sand.
I think it got caught up in a hurricane.
He was blowing away and he went through a jet engine or something. That means he wasn't killed by Spider-Man.
Well, no, he was fighting Spider-Man and then the hurricane came by and Peter was flipped onto the building. You see him flying in the wind. There's Sandman turning into mud and getting thrown all over existence.
Body parts are all over state.
Gone, dude. In the ocean, at the bottom of the ocean. He's got to wait on all the sediment from ground that's got pieces of him to wash into the Hudson Bay.
And I will mention as we go through this that there was that great villain panel. I think you saw it too, right?
Mm-hmm. That was funny.
They focus on the 3 that the trailers focus on. Alfred Molina, Jamie Foxx, and Willem Dafoe. Because honestly, I don't know if we'll see Thomas Hayden Church or the guy who plays Lizard for more than 3 minutes, if at all. They can just show their CGI form. I hear Thomas Hayden Church is in the movie, but you really don't have to get those guys.
Yeah.
And they're not featuring them in the trailers, just the CGI versions of them. Because next we have the terrible Amazing Spider-Man villains. Lizard's returning from the Amazing Spider-Man. Again, it could just be a CGI character the whole time. Doesn't have to turn back into... It'll be a waste of time, I think, actually, to show the actors, not just show the monster versions. And then...
They should have fixed Lizard's fucking face, Marvel.
I know! I still say that.
What the fuck?
But and then of course we get Electro, who is fixed from
Yes.
And Jamie Foxx looks so excited, as I discussed before on my multiple podcasts. He looked like a kid on Christmas that he was allowed to come back and like in a way even fix it. Because like I think he said in interviews like, one of my conditions is I didn't want to be blue, and he's like, I did the first movie because I wanted to be in Spider-Man. I didn't care about the script or them making me blue. I was just fucking happy to be involved with this shit. So those are the villains.
Still one of the worst things ever. Electric eels powering New York. Oh my God, Amy Pascal.
It's worse than
Git.
It's a worse transformation than Sandman's.
Yeah,
having a bunch of eels just swim around you and through you. You turn blue and get electric powers after you're a crusty corpse. Yeah, oh God. So those are the villains we'll all be seeing. Obviously, the trailers focus the most on Doc Ock. I think you see the most of him. I think it sounds like there's a good amount of Willem Dafoe in the movie. And I think we'll just get slightly more, maybe the same amount of Electro as Sandman and Lizard. It's just he won't be a CGI character. He's Jamie Foxx. So that's why he's like been featured in some of the marketing material. Like even like he was on the joke video they released about Cyber Monday, Spider-Man Monday, and he's like, let's call it Electro Monday. Like
I think it's gonna be more Ock than anyone.
Sounds like
screen time.
Goblin will have quite a bit though. The Ock the most for sure.
Yeah, I think definitely Goblin number 2, but like I said, I still feel like there's a sixth person, but
there has to be. Why pass up a Sinister Six?
Then again, you know, there at the end fight, was Ock actually there at the scaffolding fighting Peter? Or is it the other 4? What if?
No,
Ock
you don't even see Goblin there either. All you see are the 3.
So like, what if the Mysterio, Vulture, and Scorpion are the 6, and Ock is there as the what's it called? The fucking Superior Spider-Man.
No, shit, damn, that would be a little too far, too quick.
That'd be too far. But
no, I was
joking. Everyone.
I like that.
It could be. He is a good guy.
I mean, we've all heard the rumors. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. People know for sure, don't know for sure. I'm expecting it. I still think it would be cool if the character removed from that scene that punches Lizard is Doc Ock. Like Doc Ock fighting alongside Spider-Man because he's not, the arms are made him bad. He's like Dr. Audio Octavius is never a bad person. Even at the end, he is redeemed like Vader and saves the city.
Yeah, but he's just because he overpowers them that once, maybe they could overpower him again.
And like the conversation we see in the trailer about asking his real name seems like they're just talking to him. It doesn't even look like he's in a cell. It's like they're just talking.
No, it's a magic cell.
Is it a little bit of a cell? Okay. Because he's just having a conversation with them. It's not like he's like, I'm going to kill you. But, and otherwise, that's what you need to know about the villains. There are rumors we'll see Tobey and Andrew Garfield, but if they're both Spider-Men, different versions, if you haven't seen the movies, you'll get it. We went through the villains who, all but one we saw get killed. That's the line in the trailer is, these are all destined to die. The hand of Spider-Man or whatever Strange says. And
the only one that has died by Holland's hand has been Mysterio.
Not by his hand, but yes, actually by his hand. He flipped the... he didn't technically kill the Goblin by hand, but I agree with you, actually. Mysterio, because he flung one of the drones in his direction. That's the one that shot him.
You don't know which one actually hit.
I know, but like he threw a drone face first at him.
No, I'm just saying, like he dies fighting that Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's true. And Vulture just went to prison, and the other villains are barely villains. I still think it would be interesting if the Tinkerer was the 6th, and he's like the one who rigs up the arc reactor. There were probably a few that still got out, even though Spider-Man saved the day at the end of Homecoming, maybe because Jamie Foxx has an arc reactor on it, which is like this is trolling his shit. And I'm hoping none of these people are getting enhancements from other Tony Starks and other universes. But if there was like a Tinkerer type character and he had an arc reactor, he's like, this will control your shit. That works for me.
Idea.
Or like the arms really do look like there's been speculation that they absorb the nanotech, that they don't originally have
absolutely.
So I like that too, as long as we're not getting versions of them that know different Tony Starks who gave them upgrades. I don't care if we see a little bit of Stark tech, because now we finally get Spider-Man villains who hate Peter Parker / Spider-Man. And don't they all know he's Peter Parker by the end of all of their movies? Maybe not Lizard.
No, Lizard does.
Yeah, everyone knows it's Peter Parker before, but they all get dispatched, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. Except for Vulture, who hasn't told yet. Probably. Maybe.
Might tell Dr. Morbius, Michael Morbius.
But and then the only other thing to really say, if you haven't seen the other two movies, and for some reason you're going to this one because it is being called a huge event by critics and Marvel. One critic, heavy spoilers, who I follow on Twitter in addition to watching his videos, says that he thinks the final few scenes of the movie are the best thing Marvel's ever done. So if you're seeing it because it's a big event and you're not familiar with the other Spider-Man movies or the rest of the trilogy, basically all I need to know, MJ knows he's Spider-Man, his aunt knows, Ned knows, Jon Favreau is kind of like his, Iron Man was his mentor and Jon Favreau is still working with him. But at the most important part is, if Vulture shows up, he went to jail at the end of the last one, where he met Matt Gargan, who he already tried to do a deal with, who also wants to kill Spider-Man, and he knows that Vulture knows. Yep. That's how I read that scene. I was like, "You sure you don't want to tell me?" And he's like, "Okay." So those are all possible appearances, possibly. I doubt those will tie in, honestly. And then, of course, the most important part is at the end of Far From Home, Mysterio is able to spin what happened through clever editing and stuff to make it not only reveals Peter's identity, but he pins the attack on London on Peter Parker. So, and the whole world knows, which is why the spell is done. And we'll see what other consequences the world knowing has before that, or even if the spell doesn't work at all after that. So that's basically, I think, that's the primer, right? That's the pregame.
Yeah. That's it. The pregame was watching all the movies beforehand.
Yeah, go ahead and listen to all those podcasts. So you don't have to suffer through all the movies. You can just listen to us complain.
Two of them are god awful with nothing redeeming, and one of them is god awful with barely anything redeeming. One is okay. One is really, really good, and two are fucking amazing. But anyways, and neither one is titled amazing. That is amazing. Guys, check out lrmonline.com, genreverse.com for all your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Please hit subscribe, and like I said, keep an eye out for information on the new channel where it'll just be the podcast. So yeah, that's kind of cool. You won't get bogged down with a bunch of notifications of all these celebrity interviews, which are great, because that's not what you're here for. But if you are there for them, stay tuned to this channel, because it's not going anywhere. And the Genreverse Podcast Network, wherever you get your podcast from. And Nick's social media information's down below.
All right, and I also we should have a show Friday, right? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah,
where we will discuss in spoilers.
I believe that we should be able to record Thursday night for Friday, but you guys will have something up by Saturday at the latest. So yep.
So check in again, and we will be able to finally discuss the event of the year, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And with that, Excelsior.
Enough said.